Okay, today we're going to be looking at 5.3c, solve for quotients of up to a 4-digit dividend by a 2-digit divisor. We're going to start a little smaller with our dividend and gradually work our way up. We're also going to practice a little bit of area model so that when we get into decimals, we're more familiar with it. Let's begin with our first example. Our first example is 276 divided by 12. When I look at this, I have a 3-digit dividend and a 2-digit divisor. So let me begin division. I'm going to start off dividing. So one of the things that I like to do if I'm still struggling is I like to write out my steps. Does McDonald's sell burgers? Or any other acronym that you want to use to remember. So divide, multiply, subtract, bring down. Always have to be in this order without skipping any steps. Let's begin with our first example. 2 divided by 12. I always like to say my dividend and then my divisor. Not like, but that's how it should be said. So 2 divided by 12. That is not possible. I cannot take 12 out of 2. So I go to my next problem. 27 divided by 12. That is possible. So before I do any math, the first thing I do is I can identify how many digits my quotient is going to be and in what place value it's going to begin. 2-digit quotient starting on the 10th place. So now I can divide now that I know what I should expect in my quotient. 27 divided by 2, that is a basic multiplication fact. That is 2. I'm going to multiply. 24, subtract 3, and then bring down my 6. So I start my process all over again. Divide, 36 divided by 12, 3, multiply, 36, subtract, bring down. There's nothing else to bring down, so I am done. My answer is 23. Okay, some of the things that students should do to check their answer is multiply their quotient by their divisor to see if their dividend is their product. So that will ensure that they got the answer right. So it should be, to check my answer, 23 times 12. You can also do 12 times 23. It doesn't really matter, but I should multiply this and I should get my dividend. 6, 4, bring down my placeholder, 3, 2, add 6, 7, 2, same as my dividend. I did it correct. Okay, before I move on to the area model for division, I'm going to do these exact same steps and use area model in multiplication because you're going to see how similar it is. So let me switch. I'm going to do this exact example for multiplying to check my answer as an area model. So I'm going to use I know it's going to be 23 times 12. So I'm going to put that on my edges, length times width. So I'll put my 12 over here and my 23. But in order for area model to work, it has to look like partial product. So I have to split my 12 up into expanded form. 10 plus 2, 20 plus 3. Every spot I see an addition sign, I'm going to put a line. So now when I add, or now I need to multiply, like area, length times width, 20 times 10, that's 200. 10 times 3, that's 30. 2 times 20 for this box, that's 40. 2 times 3, that's 6. And for the sake of the example, I'm going to add going down to bring it all together. So 200 plus 40 is 240. 30 plus 6 is 36. Okay, so I also want to go back and show you now how to do the area model with division. But we'll come back to this so you can see how similar it is. Okay, so now let's go back to our original example and let's do the area model with division. So in area, I always like to start off with my division sign just to kind of represent, hey, there's my division. I'm going to put 12 here, and on the inside will be my dividend, 276. I'm going to write it down here because I'm going to need the space right now. So I have 276, and now I want to work it out just like I did my example up here. Place value starting from my greatest place value working downward. So starting with my greatest place value, my hundreds place, I'm going to ask myself, how many groups of 100 can I take out if I have 12? Okay, well let me check. I have 12 groups of 100. Well, that's 1,200. I cannot take 1,200 out of 276, which explains why I don't have a number in my hundredth place. Okay, now let's go to my next place value, my tens place. How many groups of 10 can I take out using 12? Well, let's check. 12 groups of 10, that's 120. Okay, so let me see how many groups of 120 I can take out. Instead of trying to do it all in your head, just look at 12 and 27. How many groups of 12 can you take out of 27? 2. And then you have to remember the place value you ended at, tens place. Now I like to write that number, 2 tens. What does that represent? That represents 20. So on the inside, I can now fill this in by just doing my traditional multiplication for area. 12 times 20, that's 240. Okay? I cannot take any more out because once I subtract it away and see how much I have left, you're going to see that I only have 36 left. So I need to go to my next place value, my ones place. 12 groups of 1, which is 12. How many groups of 12 can I take out of 36? I can only take out 3. And what place value? My ones place. 3 times 12 is 36. I have used up my entire amount because 240 plus 36 is 276. I'm done. This represents 3. I add these together and my numbers should match up. 23 is my quotient, just like up here. Okay, I wanted to go back to the area model for multiplication. I want you to see how similar this is. See if I can get this on the screen correctly. So you can see how I have 12 here, 12 here, 23 here, 23 here. I have 240 here, 240 here. I have 36 here, I have 36 here. It all came back. It's practically identical other than a few extra squares. So what I want you to see and kind of re-emphasize and talk about is that multiplication and division, they're related. They're just opposites. Okay? So in multiplication, I looked at these two numbers to find the inside. In division, I look at this number and the inside to find one of the outside edges. But it's very similar. I hope this helps in better understanding area model.